I'm in the new office, which is awesome. I have a couple more screens that got stuff on. I'm going to be having a guest on, the one and only Tim Schreckengast. We're going to be kind of diving in, talking about marketing and stuff like that. And so this is going to be fun stuff. So let me bring Tim in. And
yo,
up.
What's up, dude?
Much. So I'm in the new office. This is all live, and I feel like I should open up the window a little bit. So before we kind of get rolling, how's it going, man?
Good, dude. You got a window in your office. I don't. I'm a little jealous.
I'm hoping that the lighting and stuff doesn't jack it up completely.
You look beautiful.
Close it again. Yeah.
You look beautiful.
Oh, thanks, man. Same to you. Did you just get your haircut?
I did. I got my ears lowered yesterday, so we're set.
It's awesome. I need to get my haircut, dude. Check this out. It's like getting to be a freaking mop around here.
Yeah, dude. Every month, man. Every month I just set it up. Got to get those grays cut back.
Yeah, dude. I love it. So today during the live, I did want to kind of do an audit, maybe some ad audits, or maybe we can do maybe an email audit or something of that nature. I did want to bring something up though, which is kind of crazy. Facebook Wi-Fi. I just got this email actually talking about how Facebook Wi-Fi works. Have you known anything about that?
No, I don't know anything.
So it's like, I'll just read it. So this is going to be more for like businesses. But Facebook Wi-Fi will allow people to connect to your Wi-Fi without needing to share passwords. It can also increase the number of check-ins to your Facebook page and will allow visitors and friends to discover your business. I can think of like so many security issues with this. It's like not even funny. But what do you think about that? It's all about bringing in the meta, right? I think it's like the next step with the whole metaverse type of thing.
I mean, is it, I suppose that Andrew, yeah, dude, definitely trouble, man. So, I wonder what kind of, if anyone's going to be allowed on, or like the business can like set up, if the business can set up like hours that people can log on. It seems a little, I don't know. I'm with you, man. And it's going to crash the Wi-Fi, if you get 30 people, even at like a coffee shop, right? Say Starbucks, and you go in, you're the only one in there. First thing when they open, right? The Wi-Fi is great. And then when 30 people come in and sign onto the Wi-Fi, it just, it doesn't work well.
Right.
So if this will just give everyone access, I mean, it's probably just building on a bigger thing, right? So this is like the step, and then Facebook is going to come out with their like meta fiber optic satellite thing from the moon or whatever, they're going to be like beaming down from the moon their Wi-Fi signals.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm wondering too if like because I did notice they have a bunch of a list of routers that will work with the Facebook Wi-Fi, and so I'm wondering if they're going to create and start pushing out their own hardware type stuff to be able to handle the BAS things and maybe a little more security to it. I don't know. It sounds like trouble to me, but who knows what? Yeah, Andrew.
And
Elon Musk.
doesn't he have the Elon Musk internet?
Yeah, man, he's got it. I've actually been quite impressed with that whole thing. Elon Musk is just super innovative, and he actually cares about things like security and stuff, at least from what I've seen. And so, um, yeah, it's good. Yeah, the Starlink, and the Starlink actually, maybe that'll be something with the metaverse. You never know.
They're probably
It's kind of
secretly
crazy.
working together to take over the world.
Yeah. It's so true. So true.
It's just the start, man. We're
Yeah,
gonna
you
be,
never know, like
you know,
what.
it's just gonna get crazier. I
It's
think, as we,
right.
we're rather young, and it's just going to be like, it's amazing. In the last 10, I didn't have a smartphone until I was out of college 10 years ago. you know
Yeah.
that's when like the original iPhone or whatever, what people were still using iPod touches, and the iPhone was still getting kind of like coming out. And
Yep.
so it's amazing what you know that how far technology has come in just 10 years, and just in the last couple of years. And so like can't just it's gonna be
Yeah. I
crazy.
feel like we're gonna experience the things that when the internet first kind of came out in like the '90s, and the first people that were kind of trying it out and stuff. And I think this new metaverse thing. I think we're at the brink of like that where there are a lot of people were super skeptical about the internet. A lot of people didn't really have access to it, and there was a lot of things that way. But so I think there's gonna be some similarities of the transition of we're at that point of like we're gonna be getting into like a whole new realm of things. Because I remember I didn't even have a phone, period, until like after high school. You know, I'm kind of dating myself a little bit.
You're old, bro.
Um, so, yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Andrew
Um,
Andrew has a marketing question. Drop it in the
oh,
chat, dude, or
this
on
is
the
gonna be
comment.
good.
I'm not sure how it works.
Yeah,
If they're, I
man,
don't know if he's
comment.
watching
He's
I
on
guess,
Facebook.
yeah. But yeah, dude, flip phone to take emo selfies. Oh yeah, that's it right there, man.
Dude, yeah, yeah. I
That's
had the flip phone, like, and I remember like the phones were get smaller and smaller, and everybody was always talking about by the time technology is going to go a year from now, we're going to have phones that just kind of plant in our head. They're going to be, you know, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think people
I
are
mean
still
that
talking
that
about
is the
that.
future, right? Is to where everything it just like projects like in front of you,
Yeah,
the
like the Google glasses.
yeah.
You've seen those, right? Like it's all crazy.
Yep.
It's,
Like
it's
that will
wild.
replace the phone. So the phone is replacing the computer, right? Pretty much. Like there aren't I think the vast majority of people have phones and no computers, because the phone
Yep.
pretty much does everything that a computer, unless you're nerds like we are that do stuff on the computer. Like you don't really need a computer anymore.
It's true.
And so that's like the future. Um, it just that's the future, dude. Is like the phone will go away probably before our lifetime. Before we're gone, we will probably see no phone. It'll
Yeah,
be
which is
like the glasses, like AI, whatever
yeah.
fancy terminology that I don't know yet. Some deep
Yep.
tech stuff,
Your grandkids are going to be like, Grandpa, tell us about the good old days when you guys had cell phones.
All right.
And they'll be like, yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Andrew's question, I was actually thinking about this earlier today, man. Was thinking about that for your store, actually. the dude that lifts store. I was thinking to get rid of that and just leave everything as at the price that it's set at. You know, I don't I don't like a discount. To me, when you discount it, yeah, it does seem like you're already discounting it, right? So it's like, well, if they're already discounting it, like, is it actually worth what they what they're listing it as? You know, as like the say it's $35, and you have it marked down to $30 all the time, right? And it's then you like run a sale or you give a discount for like signing up for a list or something like that. And it's like, wow, like it's already discounted, and then like is it actually quality or not? You know, when you discount something. So my vote is to keep everything at the price that it is, and then if you do offer some sort of incentive for them to sign up or whatever, they can apply that at checkout. And it kind of when you keep the price there and not discount, um, I mean, really, like the discounts are only a few dollars anyway, and a few dollars I don't really think makes or breaks like a buying decision on the products that you are offering. Um, so my vote would be to keep everything at the price, at the set price, and see what happens. But I don't think it'll affect sales at all. It might actually increase them just with brand reputation.
Yeah, for sure. And I think just to kind of play on that, so and just so that everybody, because I know some people are on Facebook, some people are on YouTube um, watching this. So Andrew said he's had an online store for over a year, and he's had the compare to price on most of the products the entire time with the intention to create the perceived value. Do you think it's beneficial, or does it make me look like a used car salesman thinking about just pricing as it is? And so the one thing that with the discounted pricing and stuff is if you're throwing so much, so like in the bundles, for example, that's like a perfect example where the discount's going to have a huge play because you're like, hey, you're going to get this item, and then this item, and this item, and this item. And normally this would cost you, you know, like $150, but because we're bundling together, you're going to get it for $120. That's where you build up that perceived value. For single items, doing the compare price at, I think at certain points, not always. I don't think it should be there all the time. I think it should be ran at certain times. So if you're running a flash sale, I think it's beneficial to put that, because then the perceived value, normally if somebody goes there, they're not going to see that discount. But during that weekend, they'll be like, oh crap, this thing's running on sale, and then it shuts off, you know, the following week. So like short periods of time, I think would be more beneficial. And I think that would probably increase prices during those set times when it is set at the compare price, if that makes sense.
So he just commented, just installed a bundling application. I think with full retail pricing, it'll make the bundle look amazing. And yeah, man, so EJ just basically reinforced that with what he just said about when you have that full retail value, you know, when you buy it a single item at full retail value, or you get these three things and you get this amazing price, instead of like everything kind of discounted already, then it's a much smaller discount when you buy the bundle. So it does make buying the bundle way more attractive to the buyer.
Yep. Awesome question though, because we've dealt with that for like forever. It's always like a question people like to ask. Last question: are you a dude that lifts?
Are you a dude that
I don't
lifts?
know, man.
I like lifting stones. I just found a new stone, dude, last night. Well, I've seen it before, but it's at the bottom of the driveway. It's like twice the size of my biggest one in the yard. So, but it's at the bottom of the driveway, which is a hill. And so I haven't mustered up the courage to get on there and try to lift it yet. But it's pretty big, man. It's pretty big. It's what to see. You know, I was watching some stone lifting documentaries. We're going off in a tangent here on that Rogue Fitness put out on their YouTube channel. And this dude, I don't know if he was in Iceland. I think he might be in Iceland. But he picked up this 600-pound rock, dude. This long rock. He just picked this thing up, and he dwarfed it. Like, it looked like me picking up one of the little stones I have in the yard. Like, this guy, I don't know how big he is, like how tall he is, but the 600-pound stone, it was a long hugged it and picked it up.
It's crazy.
Like,
that's crazy.
It's probably taller than me. That stone is probably, and I'm not that tall, but
yeah. When people are picking up stuff like that, it's not like picking up a barbell or like, you know, something that has like fixed ends and things like that. Like stones and like with Andrew said, the strongman stuff, when you're picking up like the round balls and like the different stuff where you actually have to have a grip and strength in other areas. You can't just throw on lifting straps to lift it, so to speak. Like, it's impressive, man. Like, it's legit. It reminds me of the days, landscaping days, man. Building rock walls and stuff with boulders. I remember lifting up, it looked like the smallest little rock, right? But it sucker weighed like 300 pounds, and you're like, oh my gosh. And it's not just 300 pounds because you're like, oh yeah, I can deadlift. Like, you know, at that point I was deadlifting well over 400 pounds, somewhat on a little bit of a regular basis, but it's different because one side's bigger than the other, and then you have sand that slips and, you know, all the other stuff. So the 300 pounds felt like almost impossible to lift. Just kind of an interesting thing.
Anyway,
yes. Yeah, a little bit of a rant. Yeah,
dude, I wanted
to
talk.
Believe it.
What's that?
No, go ahead.
I wanted to talk about something that's been on my mind a lot recently with online businesses and trying to increase that initial purchase value, right? So if you're selling something and that you're helping people, you know, with whatever you're selling, right? So that's the whole point of selling anything. At least in my opinion. Sure, you got to make cash doing that, but whenever you make that initial sale, like the first time customer, you know, you're paying a premium price to acquire that customer. And so trying to increase that, number one, increase that initial purchase value is tough, right? Depending on, and it just depends on your profit. It depends on your profit margins as well as your acquisition costs. So if you're running Facebook ads or Google ads or whatever, you're acquiring, there's some sort of cost to acquire that customer. So trying to increase that initial purchase value, and then also trying to, if you sell more than one item, which is ideal, trying to cut down, trying to decrease the time it takes for them to come back and buy again, you know. And so a couple of things that I've been thinking about with initial purchase, and we've been working with Andrew on this initial purchase cart value on that first purchase, is to try to make that as profitable as possible, because you are paying a lot to acquire a customer from Facebook or Google now, because so many people are advertising, and it's really hard to slash those costs. Very different than it was last year at this time. That, you know, the costs have increased to acquire a customer, and so it's more important now than ever to kind of think of it as a sales funnel, right? And that's, I've been digging into .com secrets and trying to increase that that value. So if you get someone into, there are a couple different things you could do, right? You get them in there to buy something, then you can, if they go to purchase, and then you can do the upsell, right, before they check out, with a related item, an item that makes sense, right? So, and I like doing that when they commit to checkout, right? When they commit to checkout, they're like ready to buy. If you do it before that, it comes across maybe just a little spammy. You're like already trying to marry them before before you dated. So I don't know if that's the right
Yeah, man.
analogy,
No, for sure.
but
So you're thinking of like cold traffic coming in, they're making an initial purchase. How do we get that average cart value? Because at the end of the day, like the people who can spend the most to acquire the customer is going to win every time. But if you don't have a plan to maximize the value of those purchases, like you're going to run out of money real fast.
right.
That's the whole point in being able to afford to be able to pay the most to acquire the customers, because you're giving so much value on the back end after that initial purchase that it more than pays for it.
Yeah, and if you can make that initial purchase profitable, like that's even better, right? So if you can optimize the process to make that initial purchase profitable, like everything on the back end is a bonus. Like you already acquired the customer, but if you can do that profitably, which is that is the whole premise of .com secrets. That is Russell's whole thing. Like he pays so much to acquire a customer on the front end, but he's making profit off that initial thing. Like otherwise he would be out of business, you know. And he says the same thing, whoever can pay the most to acquire a customer is going to win, but he's doing it in a way that he's profitable on the front end, on that front end funnel, break even or profitable, not in the red. And so if you can increase that cart value, and Andrew had a good comment, or the new plugin, the frequently bought plugin, the bundle. So you increase that, you cut the discount on the original product. So people are going to buy that at full price. But if they buy the bundle, your average cart value goes up. So you're still paying the same amount to acquire that customer, but the average cart value could triple if they buy that bundle. And if you keep that discount, if you cut that discount out of the main product, they just buy that one product, your average cart value is going up as well. And then when they commit to checkout, right, you do some related pop-up, not spammy, just saying like, hey, this actually goes with what you just bought, and a lower ticket item typically is what I like. And that could increase your average order value. Depending on what you sell, could be $5, could be $50, could be $100, depending on what you sell.
Yep.
And you're going to get a fraction of people, 10, 15, 20%, depending on how calculated that offer is. If it does truly make sense with what they bought, like that's an easy way to increase average order value, because you're serving them up something that's related to what they're already committed to buying. So when someone clicks that checkout button, they are very committed to buying, like super committed. You do lose people in checkout, but then you can follow up with them with abandoned cart checkout emails, or abandoned cart emails or text messaging. And then when they do check out, then you can have a post-purchase offer, right? To try to close that gap of repurchasing, or of getting them to come back and buy again. So, all of this is done, and all these pieces come together to maximize the profit on that first purchase.
Yep. And the nice thing, so if people are watching, they're like, well, how does this like work? Like the best way is to go to like .comsecrets.com or expertsecrets.com, some of the Russell Brunson stuff. You're going to get a book. He's going to the initial offer is you're going to get the book for free, just pay shipping and handling. And then when you go to checkout, that's when the upsells start to happen, right? So he's going to offer the audio version of the book that you can get right away. He's going to offer like all these things that add value to what you just committed to purchase, so it's directly related to that initial purchase. But if you go through it and you're like, if you click on all the add-ons, that $10 item could turn into like $100 after that initial purchase is over. And that's what makes it profitable. So you have that initial offer, which gets people in the door, they go to commit it, and then you just offer things that add more value to what they just purchased. GoDaddy is an awesome example of this too. If you go to buy a domain name and you start going through the checkout, what's the things that start to happen? Well, they're going to start offering you, you're going to need email, you're going to need hosting for the website, you're going to, website builder if you don't have one. All these things that all of a sudden, if you added all those things, it's going to, that $10 item, or sometimes it's a $3 item that gets you in the door. By the time you're done with that initial transaction, you could end up having spent a couple $100, $2, $3, and then they even offer, hey, don't just get 1 year on this domain, buy it for 5 years or 10 years. So they could even take that one item that they came in initially and just upsell you on additional years of that domain, which then you're spending a couple $100 to do that. And so that's what we're kind of talking about with making it profitable and increasing the cart value on that initial purchase. That doesn't count for stuff that after they make the initial purchase, them coming back and buying something else, right? That's a different cycle. It's a different process to kind of think through, because they're in a different stage of the journey. And so hopefully that's helpful. That's like a solid discussion on that. I like that.
Good. Yeah, that's just what that's where my head has been at the last couple of weeks is, okay, how do we maximize the initial conversion, because acquisition cost is really high. So
it is.
It's hard to stay profitable with. So whenever you do have that initial purchase, your margins are already cut. So it's like, okay, how can we help the customer more instead of just throwing them like spammy stuff? How can we, like, what else can we serve them that will help them, that's similar to what they're buying right now, that'll continue helping them along their journey, but will also allow us to help more people? Because the more profit that we have, the more customers that we can serve, and then it just impacts a lot more people when you do that.
Yep.
And that's the goal, right?
Yep. And offering stuff that's actually going to benefit them is the other caveat, is actually like trying to help people. So sometimes when somebody goes and they go to buy a shovel from Lowe's, well, they might need gloves and some other things to make their experience a whole lot better. And it's more advantageous for Lowe's to try to sell those things to them in addition to that shovel, because it's just the responsible thing to do. It's like, if you don't have these items, you probably should get them. Otherwise, you're going to get blisters and do all that kind of other stuff. So
yeah, and when you do that right away, when you can do that as they're buying the shovel, that means they don't have to go home, start shoveling, and like, oh man, I wish I had some gloves, right? And then they got to drive back to Lowe's. It's an inconvenience. So
it increases the customer experience too, because then they will look at the business and be like, oh, these guys are actually thinking about me, thinking about my well-being and the experience I'm going to have, not only with them, but like as I'm utilizing the stuff I'm buying, which is, which goes a long way with people. So yeah, I love it, man. That kind of takes us, that took us right up to the half-hour mark. This is awesome. If you guys got value out of that, let me know. Like, click the like button, and if you'd like to share this with somebody that needs to hear it or likes to kind of hear the bantering, the marketing banter between the Shrek and Big Daddy E. Yep, I just said that. I just went there. Hashtag, use a hashtag if you use that. So it's mine. I'm claiming it right now. But yeah, if you like it, if you like this kind of format along with the audits and stuff like that, let us know, and so we can kind of keep doing it. But for now, I do Love it. If you have any other questions or anything like that, feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to kind of answer. We got to head. We got to get off of this live and actually kind of do what we do on a daily basis. But so yeah, hope this was helpful. Appreciate everybody jumping on and interacting. Andrew, thank you for that. It was awesome. Any last words from you, Tim?
Merry Christmas to everyone that's watching this right now, and that everyone that'll watch it in the next few days. Christmas is only a couple days away, so Merry Christmas to all.
Yeah, hope you guys have a great holiday. Remember, the day after Christmas till the New Year is the infamous Q5, and it is historically it's been a very good time to really ramp ads up, because a lot of people stopped running ads for Christmas, and arguably, probably right now a lot of people are kind of shutting ads off, and so the cost of the ads, because not as many people are running ads, not a lot of the bigger companies and stuff like that, they're not running a lot of ads, so the cost of ads generally go down. So that's a good time to kind of ramp things up, to kind of fill in the hole a little bit. So little tip there, but thank you again. Yeah, we'll catch you guys next week.
See you.